situationally in just a moment. But again, 94 degrees in Kingstown, Saint Vincent, as we prepare for the national anthems.
And that was the national anthem of the United States of America. We invite you to please remain standing for the national anthem of Saint Vincent and the Grenadines.
Well, if there's anything that lets you know you're on the islands, the national anthem's played on the steel drums. And it adds a little something to it. Saint Vincent and the Grenadines in their familiar yellow and blue, and the white with the blue and red trim for the United States. And the Canadian crew, Mathieu Bourdeau, the man with the whistle here today, 36 years of age, plays a role in a fourth official, mainly in the NASL and in some USL play. Did debut in Major League Soccer just last year. Philippe Briere, Daniel Belot running the lines, and Drew Fisher, the fourth official.
And Stephen Birnbaum. The USA is coached by...
You can hear the substitutes in the background, and when you take a look at these starting lineups, as they try and provide just a bit of spark to the crowd here, announcing the St. Vincent starting lineup. For the United States, I guess if there is a surprise, it's Kellen Acosta stepping in at left back.
He could have easily gone with Gonzalez next to Cameron, push Beasler to the left fullback position, but the mere fact that Acosta for the last 2 years had played a lot of minutes for Dallas, and Fernando Clavillo had said that he's very, very high on this player. I think this will be his position on the international level going forward. He's come from the ball, he's a good tackler, and he's a lefty, which is always good, and we're not very deep in that position, Phil. You obviously know that.
Beasler, of course, maybe just a little tired, but he is getting the start here today. Proud papa on the day. His wife Amanda giving birth to Parker, and they already have a new U.S. kit with his name emblazoned on it.
Congratulations.
Josie Altidore stepping back in wearing the captain's armband. That's probably worthy of a congratulations as well. Last 7 games that he's been able to play since coming back to full health, 5 goals and an assist. And the United States could use a good performance here today. They've gotten them when he's paired up with Bobby Wood. It goes away a little bit from that 4-2-3-1 that Jurgen Klinsmann likes to use. This is more of a 4-4-2. And Wood and Altidore a chance to play off of each other. The last 3 times they have done so, that's led to 6 goals, including 3 the first time these two teams met.
It's really a continuation of that Copa America roster and that starting 11 that played consistently out of the 4-4-2 with, at that time, obviously Wood and Clint Dempsey was missing today underneath, and then 2 wide players in Zardes that they missed today as well, and Bedoya out on the right side. So they're missing 5 starters from that team that beat Ecuador in Copa America, Phil. And now, they got to find, especially in the spine, with now Beckerman, Bedoya, and Altidore being back, and also Biesler coming in the fold, they got to be very, very tight in that area there. Let Zuzi, let Fabian Johnson, which in my opinion is his best position on the left-hand side, provide some attacking impulses.
Well, there was a question as to whether, because of the lack of depth at that left back spot, if they might push Fabian Johnson back to his roots. Again, it is Saint Vincent, and allow him to push up that left side. But to this point, Jurgen Klinsmann giving Kellen Acosta the chance. And I guess if there is a flaw in Acosta's game, it's that he's too good at too many things. Hard to lock down a starting spot. We are underway. The United States defending goal towards the right, but now attacking to the left against the Vinci Heat. And you see Fabian Johnson quickly in, trying to push it through for Altidore, and it's poked free. See Bobby Wood leaning a little bit more towards the left. Bill Shane and Thomas Rongen with you. Cut out by DeAndre Yedlin, the Newcastle United defender. Josie with the back heel. Chance for Zusi out wide. Doesn't hear the footsteps. Nice from Altidore. Beckerman pushing up into the area now. Edge of the area. The chance off balance for Bedoya. Lifted back inside for Wood. And a diving header sends it over their own bar, surrendering the corner.
Great start, Phil, to this game. Good interplay there. As you talked about, Beckerman already playing a little bit more in an advanced position. They're going after this team early with the right mentality, which we didn't see in the last away game against Guatemala.
It was Christopher, 6'5", only about 145 pounds though. Whipped inside to the near post, headed clear. Back in towards the spot. Johnson able to steal it away, but cuts inside. Smart play by Biesler to win it back, and Beckerman will just retreat. Acosta all the way back. Not an easy ball for Gazan to handle, but he does well. Maybe a little of that Victor Valdez rubbing off. Johnson with a right foot into the center channel. Wood into the area, shoots, tries to tuck it into the far corner, but Christopher down quickly.
Great through ball from Fabian Johnson. The earlier and directer you can play, Phil, forward to Bobby Wood and Josie Altidore, making those great diagonal runs in between those 2 center backs. Oh, Bobby, that should be right-footed, clinical. You put that away. He'll get more opportunities, but that's the perfect one with the inside of the right foot to go far post with pace, obviously, but still a good start. Fabian Johnson picking out the right runner, Bobby Wood.
United States almost getting off to an early start. Remember, it was a 6th-minute goal from Alex Anderson that gave Saint Vincent the lead when these two teams met back in St. Louis. U.S. was able to bounce back and recover. It would have been a big step forward for the United States if they could have scored in the opening couple of minutes. Adra Durham back into the fold. Playing in Antigua, the 33-year-old veteran. Left foot from Gazan, sending it all the way up. 51st cap for Gazan. Trying to flick it on. Myron Samuel in towards the area, but the offside flag comes up. Anderson just a step too close.
Anderson is a player that really likes to play in between the lines and also has the ability to get away from defenders, Phil. It's very important, obviously, the 2 center backs Jeff Cameron and Matt Biesler have good balance and cover, good pressure, obviously, in the arc of concentration, 25 yards out. That those defenders slide well. Yetland gives it support on the weak side. They should be okay.
Beckerman, and against St. Vincent, pushing forward. Acosta tries to sneak it in, but unable to do so. A little casual on the touch from Samuel, and Beckerman tries to win it back and does.
And the ability of now on both sides having good attacking fullbacks, Tirania Yetland and Kellen Acosta on that left side, have the willingness, as you can see right here, to get in that final third and hopefully, great little move there.
Finds Johnson. Ball played squared by Bedoya. Here is Beckerman. Dances around the challenge from McBurnett, and then a hit outside the area. This is a bit of a concern. Josie Altidore is down. Got stomped.
Yeah, it's a tackle, Phil. It's not a yellow card, but it's for sure a free kick. Josie does well. He can take a pounding, so to speak. It's a big body. He was already big when he played for me when he was 18 or 19 year olds, but he's really grown and has become tactically, in my opinion, the last few years, a much better player. Just links up well with Giovinco when he plays for Toronto. Scored some goals, as you said, Phil, in the last 5 or 6 games. So he's really in stride. He's hot. He's the guy to go to. The most important thing here is create space and find the underloaded areas. It's so important through ball and player movement.
You talk about creating space with Wood up front with Altidore. That could be a negative if they get in each other's way.
It could be. You like to think that Dempsey, Altidore, Dempsey Wood, which we saw obviously in the Copa, might be a better option. But you know what? 2 twin strikers, Suarez, Cavani, it might work.
Christopher waiting, rolled in, almost to Altidore, but then just stolen away at the last moment, and that gets a round of applause. Ball pushed down the line by Stewart, a chance on the break. McBurnett leaves Zusi in the dust, chipped in, and looking into the sun, Brad Guzan handles it well, and then quickly launches a break the other way. Altidore and Wood, a 2-man break. Tries to get around Durham and does. Zusi now on that left. Bedoya playing a more central role, what we saw at Nantes earlier under Jurgen Klinsmann.
And that's what he's playing right now with Ernie Stewart and with the Philadelphia Union.
Laid back Altidore, give and go with Johnson on his left foot, chipping, looking to provide, but not enough on it. Whacked away by Adrio Durham.
Again, it's so important, Phil, for Jurgen, which took him a while. Play the right system. Great fake there, by the way, by James, number 7. To play the right system and put players in the right positions. It's taken him a while, but it looks like he's getting better at it.
Burst of speed from Bedoya, drives it into the corner of the 6, blocked by Sean Benjamin. Benjamin, the veteran out there in defense, the 31-year-old. Bit of a change from the starting lineup we were given. Kevin Francis starting this match on the bench. Down the line. Anderson trying to cut to the inside. Steps back over, draws Cameron out. Little touch for Samuel. Edge of the 18, stolen away. Bedoya and Zusi combine well, and then out to Wood. Big match for Wood as well. Scored a goal in that match against St. Louis. Scored a goal, even more importantly, in his debut for Hamburg in the Bundesliga. Drags it inside the box. A little bump with Corny Stewart. No foul, says Mathieu Bourdeau.
That was a manly shoulder-to-shoulder, Phil, so play on. Good decision by the referee. What I like about Bobby Wood, which he has shown when Jurgen Klinsmann played out of a 4-3-3, when he played on the left side, he can float in those areas. He can take people on. He's got good pace. When he played for me at the under-20 level, he always showed that he could play centrally and out wide. I still think that he's a traditional 9, and it's his best position. He's a striker.
Again, with the 2 men up front, maybe a chance for both. We've seen Altidore out on the left wing trying to cross. Headed down from Acosta. A chance for Johnson. Acosta making a good run. Johnson with the outside of the right boot, and that left the door open for Durham. It's a good start for the U.S. If Klinsmann was sitting next to you, think he'd be happy.
It's a great start. Under 10 minutes, you got created one great opportunity, which should have been a goal, but the mentality they started this game with, Phil, was right, and that's important for the U.S. We're technically okay, but tactically still working on certain things. But our mentality, our discipline, our organization, and our willingness to work hard needs to be there in every game. Didn't happen against Guatemala, where they went down very early, but a good start for the U.S.
Give and go. Johnson pressured at the last moment. Acosta had laid back, and a chance for Durham to track it down. Does so right on the chalk, pressured by Wood now, and forcing a turnover. Those are the little things that don't show up in a stat sheet, but the coach notices. And as you might be able to see, it is a cricket oval. Making the roundabout, Acosta as he somersaults over the challenge. Strong from Durham, but clean.
And that's why it's so important, Phil, to move the ball fast. Good ball circulation, great player movement, allows you not to get in situations like this where the Vinci Heat likes to be tackle, be physical, be tough, get teams out of their rhythm, so to speak.
New left backs on the horizon for the U.S., but these 90 minutes, a good chance for Acosta to throw his hat in the ring. 10 minutes in the book. Bordeaux trying to make sure things don't get too hectic inside the 6. Swung in by Zusi, looking towards the back, but a push, the call inside against Altidore.
Well, again, that's a rehearsed play to bring Wood, Altidore, the big bodies right now in front of the goalkeeper, Fabian Johnson, and then there is indeed some contact from Altidore against Christopher, and again, a correct call by the referee.
Again, it is Saint Vincent against the United States. It is the next to last round of qualifying in 4th round play. United States and Trinidad leading, but Guatemala still with a chance. Saint Vincent in the role of spoiler. If the U.S. wins and Guatemala doesn't, U.S. and Trinidad both will advance, but will fight for the top spot in their group on Tuesday.
And I don't know if that's a good one, Phil, because the top spot winner plays Mexico at home in the Hex right away.
Well, let me ask you this. Get it out of the way.
You know what? That's my mentality. That's the U.S. mentality. We're very good at home. This team is good at home. They like the challenges. They always rise to the occasion, like they did in the Copa, beating some good teams and coming in 4th. And they see again pressure by Zusi. When Zusi takes those corners on that left side, he just hangs there, and Fabian Johnson just floats a little bit more to the right side or centrally, and Bedoya. The interchange, the ability of those players to play in different positions is obviously very beneficial to this team.
Long boom up forward. Lemus Christopher, just his 3rd cap. 21-year-old should have a busy afternoon if Altidore and Wood have anything to say about it. A little bit of an empty bucket look here.
Yes.
As the phrase was during the Bob Bradley regime. Bedoya given somewhat of a playmaker role here, but they did call in Sasha Kleshton on the bench. Ball pops up on Durham, tries to cut to the inside. Zusi on his tail, and he does well. And that's one of the points really for the United States. It's more than just get the victory as they try a give and go on the far side, and a foul, and it looks like it might be our first card. DeAndre Yedlin going in the book. Maybe a smart foul.
Great patient build-up. Allows now some isolations out wide on that left side, and on Yetlin's right side will give and go, impedes the run. Probably the right decision by our head referee to give Yetlin this early in the game. You might say it's his first foul, not an X-ray foul, so to speak, not cynical. And as a right fullback, you don't want to sit in an early yellow card, Phil, in particular against great teams. Against this team, you might be able to get away with it.
I was going to say, if they can get an early goal like Wood almost gave them, maybe get a couple, gives them an opportunity to bring in some new faces and to do the same against Trinidad, arguably in the group finale. Eckerman, nice touch as he lunges forward. The pass out wide just eludes Durham, and it's Zusi gets stuck between the wickets, drives it inside, and a tackle from Benjamin sweeps it to safety.
And that's, in my opinion, still the strength of the United States. playing on the half of the opponent is just not very easy. And there you see the foul of DeAndre Yedlin getting his yellow card, a little shove from behind. But the U.S. is still very comfortable, playing low pressure, allow Saint Vincent come, and then in transition going forward, Phil, breaking hard with numbers and with speed with Altidore and Bobby Wood. If there's some space behind that back three, that benefits the U.S.
Again, swinging in, well, playing it short. Bedoya drops it back. Johnson can shoot from there. Instead plays it in for Zeus. He tries to get the perfect shot and drives a low roller in that Christopher handles well.
I like that the U.S. is mixing it up a little bit. Short, long.
Chance up front. Anderson barreling in. Don't forget Haiti against Costa Rica coming your way on beIN Sports as well later today.
Both Cameron and Beasler just a little flat, which is in Guatemala cost them as well. That second goal against Ruiz with that through ball. Pressure and a little bit of balance and cover there.
Out wide, touching in Stewart, forced out by Acosta, does well. Acosta left back, left mid, right mid, D mid, center mid. And again, jack of all trades.
Yeah, but you know what, Phil, on this level, versatility is great. But I firmly believe that you need specialists nowadays that can play one position alone. I hate that. Yedlin is a right winger, he's a right fullback. Acosta can play left, right, and whatever. No, your trade is left fullback, and we're going to teach you how to play there day in, day out in practice and in games as well.
Acosta, again with the right foot. Zusi to the inside. Temperature in the mid-90s. U.S. would also like to be able to relax if needed. Bedoya tees it up, drives it over the bar, and it'll be a goal kick, and St. Vincent will take their time.
We see many of goals, especially for Nantes, where people in the United States don't see those games. Bedoya being able to strike from distance. That's why I like for him to play inside. That's his best position. He's great also in terms of his honesty. He'll work back and he helps defensively. But his engine is so big that he can get into good positions going forward and strike balls from distance. And we don't have enough players in that midfield position that strike good balls from distance because it opens things up.
Nice drive by Stewart, tries to cut inside. Acosta doing well and passes out wide to Zusi the other way. Cornelius Stewart, the 26-year-old, plays his ball in Finland. One of the internationals who did come back. Altidore back for Zusi into the middle. Bedoya takes the hit as McBurnett coming forward. Give and go nicely as Johnson on the far side, and Yedlin just got decked. Emerald George coming in with a hard hit, and Yedlin is down, and Bordeaux reaching for the pocket again. This
very
one against
similar
Emerald
on the
George.
other side as well. Give and go puts a defender in some duress. This is I talked about an X-ray tackle. This is a very cynical tackle. It could have been a red card from behind. There is some contact, but it's still reckless, and that could have been more than just a booking. There could have been a red card booking.
Well, hopefully Yedlin okay, but that is one thing that his speed does. Against a slower player, he's probably sweeping that tackle away. But Yedlin able to get around, and George now in the book. That's one thing that Olivier and Huggins and St. Vincent do not want to see, going down shorthanded against the U.S. today.
Cameron's got to make some heart runs and good service, Phil, away from the goalkeeper, driven, gives Cameron and Altidore some opportunities on set pieces.
Zusi sending it all the way across towards Beasler, but a little push in the back against Durham, and the referee spots it.
Cameron, a great game for Stoke actually over the weekend, his first game. All the fans were talking about what an improvement. And again, that's his position. He's played right fullback at times for the U.S. national team as well. No, you're a center back. You're going to play there. You're going to help us because that's your best position.
Let me ask you this, in your time as a coach, even your time as a player, a match where you come in on paper as a heavy favorite, knowing what's on the line, is there added pressure as Yedlin with a bit of a muff knocking it back to Gazan, who gets rid of it on a hop? Is there a bit of extra pressure to try and get it done too quickly?
At times, Phil, but I think that these guys, both in MLS, but in particular the international player, we got a Bundesliga player, we got an EPL player, we've got 2 or 3 very good MLS players as well. I don't think that pressures get to these players at this level anymore.
Nice Yedlin stretching the wheels, but can't quite get there on the pass from Zusi.
And they've had great experiences. Bobby Wood, by the way, lost in Guatemala with the under-20s and cost me my job, by the way.
So it's his fault.
Bobby Wood missed a great chance. He's like the Higuain of the under-20s. But again, those players at young ages, we've exposed them. U.S. Soccer does a great job in funding those programs for us to travel and play in hostile environments. So when they get to the Olympic team or our senior team, they're well equipped, especially mentally, to understand the rest in these places. Shame that Olympic team hasn't gone, because if the Olympic team goes this cycle, Pelusic will play 4 or 5 big-time games. Stanko will play big-time games.
Missed out on 2 cycles.
8 critical years that we've missed for the development of these younger players. That's a shame. Should not happen.
Trying to fight his way free is Wood, but poked back. Beckerman quickly looking the other way. Johnson, there's help coming up the right wing if he can get it there. Cuts to his right foot. Altidore dances around the challenge of McBurnett, who wrestles him away, and a free kick for the United States about 35 yards out.
The key for the U.S. is finding a way to know when they need to be patient in their build-up and when they have to become a little bit more direct, switching the point of attack. Let those midfielders play out to in, and the fullback makes those runs, because with that 3-man back line getting squeezed now a little bit, the spaces are out wide, Phil, for the U.S. to have some success. And then it opens up centrally to slip Altidore or Wood in 1v1 situations.
Zusi again, taking almost all of the restarts here for the United States. 41st cap for the Florida native. He's used to this heat. Lining up in the starting gate, Zusi chips it high. Well defended, but then won back by Johnson. His left-footed blast deflected out, and it'll be a throw-in for the U.S. on the far side. Don't forget, more action coming your way.
When DC United won the championship and he missed the ball, and Ben Olsen went in and won 0-0 DC United in Foxborough against the Galaxy.
Eckerman, Acosta, inside out with his right foot. Benjamin clears to the top of the box, and a nice header straight to McBurnett. McBurnett looking long, trying to find a break towards Stewart and Anderson. But Gazan able to keep things calm. Things have settled down into a bit of a pattern here. And the U.S. take advantage. Wood trying to get around the veteran, but can't. Good tackle by Benjamin again.
I call that nowadays a channeled striker, because channel 2 and 3, Phil, have become more important for central strikers to make those diagonal runs in than the central channel, which is number 1.
Sweet
Aguero
touch.
is so good at it, making those diagonal runs and getting in 2 and 3 out wide a little bit.
Basically, the channel's just outside the center channel.
There you go.
Easler back again to Gazan.
James Rodriguez yesterday with a great assist on its second goal, just floating out wide and dumping that ball far post for that second goal for Colombia.
Bursting forward, Samuel, the Sounders reserve, hangs it in the air, an easy grab for Gazan. Seems to be a bit of a free-for-all, as you see Johnson setting up camp in that center channel. See Zusi sliding in occasionally, trying to drag the defense out. Altidore out wide. Well, you know what they're trying to do. It's not working yet, though. Beckerman takes the hit.
I think the big challenge for this team right now, and that takes great tactical acumen, so to speak, is when do we press, when do we counter-press, or when do we say, let Saint Vincent come, because we're actually on this field better with directness and on the counter. And that, you know what, your leaders, maybe Bradley can do that, Dempsey can do that through verbal information to other players. Let's drop a little bit. Let's make Saint Vincent, we're better maybe right now for the other team to have the ball, like some Italian teams did in the past. And then, boom, in transition going to goal.
Bedoya to Altidore. Not exactly sure what he was trying to do. I think he was making it up as he went along. Wood is down.
The dragging coming back as well. We talked about it. It's hot. The humidity gets to you.
Good step up by Yedlin. Zusi tries to cut inside. McBurnett again taking no prisoners.
And in Toronto, Phil, right now, it's a little nice.
Just a little chillier. Which it wasn't that chilly in Toronto a few weeks back, but see the wind picking up on that far side could cause some problems with the crosses coming from this left flank for the U.S. It is a national holiday of sorts called a half day. Got to get your work in before noon and then get to the stadium.
We're somewhat accustomed to half days. Kind of like them as well. We're going to move to the islands, Phil. Come on.
Just grab a hammock. Something with an umbrella in it.
Nice.
20 minutes left to go, plus change here in this opening half. The United States with a golden opportunity in the opening 2 minutes. Bobby Wood denied on a nice stop by Lemus Christopher. Much of the game since then has been played in between the boxes. Jan Gordon drives it in, the header, and Gazan needs to stand up strong to deny Olex Anderson. Good ball that just seemed to hang and drop. Gazan played his line, and Anderson didn't quite get it.
There you get a ball behind the defense. Cameron, his first reaction right away, look at him. Why are you coming off your line? One of the reasons I don't like this, Howard plays, Guzan plays, because both have different tendencies that affect their back four very much so. Howard is aggressive coming off his line. Guzan is not. And that, from game to game, really wreaks havoc for your back four. Do we drop? Do we step? Great example there.
With a shot denied by Christopher. The through ball again looking for Anderson. Trickles all the way back to Gazan. We had that in the past as well. Brad Friedel, Casey Keller. Maybe something we can debate upon tonight, depending upon what happens here. The locker room will be coming regardless at midnight Eastern, 9 p.m. Pacific, immediately following our coverage of El Salvador and Mexico. Headed the wrong direction by Durham, straight to Altidore, looking to cut. Out comes Benjamin. Altidore off to Johnson. Wood caresses it into the corner. It got stuck underneath Altidore, but then he makes a brilliant ball wide, laid off nicely for Wood, who nets his 7th goal for the U.S. 1-0.
Goal scored in the 27th minute for the USA by number 7, Bobby Wood.
Great ball circulation, player movement, and then what a good ball by Bobby Wood. That's what he initially do. That was just a great orchestrated goal by Josie Altidore, finding Bobby Wood. And then just a wonderfully struck ball far post. We've seen Kadira do that. Now, he's not a Kadira kind of player, but the inside of the foot with pace, far post, 18, 20 yards out, with defenders that shield the goalkeeper. That's a well-struck ball. Bobby Wood gets you up by 30 minutes.
Now the pressure on Saint Vincent if they're going to look for an equalizer. When I say brilliant for Altidore, it's not normally going to be a perfect match. It's how you respond to mistakes, to bad bounces. And you could see the ball just seemed to get stuck as he was trying to cut. But then he adapts quickly before Saint Vincent can. Finds Fabian Johnson, who teed it up for Bobby Wood. And just like that, the dynamic duo lead to another goal. 3.5 games with Wood and Altidore as a tandem, and it's led to 7 goals. Trying to drive it in. Johnson pinching in. Now it's Bedoya. Acosta champing at the bit to get forward. Slides inside the defense. Acosta has a go himself. Had Zusi, who's letting him know that there might have been a better choice.
You know where it starts, Phil? It starts with the engine room in midfield, Mr. Bedoya. The weighted ball perfectly in front of Acosta is so important. If that's a little bit behind him, a little bit too far in front of him, so important that you take care of good passes on this field, especially the 10, 15, 20-yard passes, in order to put players in the position to be functional and productive.
United States one step closer. Of course, again, should Guatemala shock Trinidad and Tobago tonight, there still would be more to fight for than slotting in the hex. And on Tuesday in Jacksonville.
That could make for a real crazy. They get to 9 points, TNT in the US at 10 points. Wow.
Well,
please,
back to
TNT, take care of business, and the young kids can play.
Durham going into the back of Altidore. Bordeaux letting play on until Wood got taken down.
Correct.
And then goes back to the original foul.
One of the great options with bigger bodies, which Wood and Altidore are, that they can take, and they listen. If you play in a position with back to goal, you know there's going to be contact, in particular in Central America, the Caribbean islands as well, where players are ruthless, where players go through you, and for them to maintain possession, get free kicks, and not bailing out is huge for this team, and Bobby Wood and Josie Altidore can give you that.
Half hour in the books, an hour left to go. Tiny island, only about 150 square miles. I remember it's the 12th smallest nation on Earth.
Really?
3rd smallest in the Concacaf region. Only
is American Samoa a nation, Phil, or not?
That wouldn't count yet.
Okay.
You trying to start something?
A little disappointed.
Zusi, glancing header the wrong way, and it's Beasler! Now he's got more to celebrate. The proud Papa nets a second.
That was a delicate chip far post. Beasler stays with it. We're talking about second and third phases sometimes, Phil, that are so important. Sneaks to the back post, back 3-4, ball watches, and Mr. Beasler, a terrific sense from a header of the Saint Vincent guys.
Now again, where was he at the time of the kick? Do they count that clearance as possession? And obviously the answer is yes. Played with intent by the defense, and Beasler back onside and in the score sheet. Matt Beasler with his first career goal for the United States.
Delightful little half volley there by our defender, Matt Beasler. You need to be ruthless in both arcs of concentration in terms of defending and attacking first, in this case second balls as well, and staying alive. That's a form of concentration and discipline. Well done, Father Beasler.
94 degrees at kickoff, humidity up about 70, so there is a water break right after the half-hour mark. I'm sure St. Vincent would have liked to have kept it at 1 to that point, but Beasler had a little present to send home to Parker. And for Jurgen Klinsmann, that second goal is huge.
No, it is, Phil. It certainly is. On the road, getting into halftime, 1, 2, or 3 up is important. And I like, again, their mentality. After the first goal, they kept pushing as well. Not sitting back, absorbing pressure. We're happy with 1-0 into halftime. I like the fact, again, Bedoya is just going forward, is really the engine. Out wide, Acosta, again, you know, getting into wide positions, also in forward array. So I think that's very important.
Conversations going on the sideline. They're Altidore again, corralling that one, finding the right man. And Johnson, who could have been greedy and tried to turn and take the shot himself, spotting the open wood. And Beasler,
two
again,
very
can't be many
opportunistic
better
goals.
feelings.
It's nice to see, as I said again, that Josie fought through it first. A tough touch for him. When he played for me in the the 20s, he sometimes would not stay involved in those plays. He's learned a lot since that time. Well done, Josie.
After British Grand Prix coming your way tomorrow, 7:30 a.m. Eastern. At your engine, revving early with MotoGP. Vinci Heat just tamped down a bit here in the opening half by the U.S. And Gazan tested a bit in controlling his area. Anderson with a good chance just moments before, and now the United States responds in the best way possible. Here's Yedlin.
And look at Josie Altidore dropping into midfield and Wood staying higher.
Something you can't do when you have a 4-2-3-1, or at least not as easily. Zusi patiently plays for the corner. What is the difference when you play with Dempsey as that second striker behind Wood or Altidore compared to the two playing side by side?
Clint is still more clinical in the final pass, so to speak, tactically just a little bit smarter, and technically also more advanced. When he faces the field in those pockets there, he can find people, he can play underneath. Both Josie and Bobby Wood will try, Phil, but are not as good at it.
This one swept away towards the corner of the six. Glance from Wood, but not enough. And now Samuel pushing forward. Johnson using his speed to slow him down. Good pass in the middle for Stewart. But Yedlin uses his speed to sweep it away.
We call it a suffoko. He suffocates people, not fouling them. The art of defending, which is not great of Yedlin for a few years, is getting better and better. And I'm glad he's at Newcastle right now with a great coach that will teach him and make him even better from that standpoint.
Well, Sam Allardyce had no faith in Yedlin until Yedlin proved himself. You kind of sense he would have been back at Sunderland if Allardyce was not called away to the Three Lions. Obviously made a bit of an impression in the Northeast. Rafa Benitez came calling. Ball headed away by Yedlin. Veered back towards midfield. Benjamin down the line for Saint Vincent. Nice touch towards the top of the box. Samuel looking for help and just picked off of his boot. Well, George dispossessed. All the way back to Sean Benjamin, who retreats to Christopher. Saint Vincent and the Grenadines. Not even all the Grenadines. But you didn't know that.
I did not.
Here's Altidore looking to try and cut back to the inside. He'll have to settle for a corner. Some of them part of the property to the south. The Grenada is just about due west of Barbados in the Lesser Antilles, the Windward Islands, more accustomed to cricket, as you can see.
That's where the U.S. flew into and then took three
I think they just
puddle
wanted to
jumpers, I think, to the island.
They just wanted to see if Rihanna was there. 8 minutes left to go in the opening half. Bedoya couldn't reach it. Beckerman with a grab, and that leads to a foul. Standing in front, but it's not actively standing, if you will, slowing down Myron Samuel's restart. 9 players on this roster taking part in the 6-1 win in St. Louis. And as you mentioned, this is also a carry-on from the Copa America Centenario. A lot of fans are thinking, okay, well, 4th place is nice, but when can we see the kids? As a coach, you probably want to bleed them in rather than make wholesale changes. Looking for Anderson again. Beasler pinching across from the left.
Jurgen Klinsmann's job, let's be real honest, is to win games, Phil. That's it.
Touched aside, and Gazan
not to develop players. That's not his role. That's Tab Ramos with the 20s and our under 23s as well.
And this looks to be a bit of concern for Myron Samuel. Sounders 2. Midfielder, attacker, and he lands awkwardly. There's a light bench for St. Vincent. U.S., the visitors, actually with more available substitutes. That's a 3-point takedown. Bobby Wood brought down by Theon Gordon in a card against the St. Vincent midfielder. That tackle might be good tomorrow, or actually New Mexico State taking on UTEP 7:30 p.m. You can catch that in our BN Sports College football debut. Football of a different sort next week with CONMEBOL qualifiers as well. Venezuela against Argentina. '40th minute, halfway done. His little passes into space, keeping the ball moving, tiring the opposition. Dancing around Yedlin, back for Zusi, cuts to the inside, pops up, finds Johnson, lifts it up on a hop, maybe unintentionally, and Saint Vincent able to poke it free. Out wide for Emerald George. Leon Gordon retreats. Sean Benjamin takes it off the boil a bit.
A little bit of a counter press there by Bobby Wood initiating it. Other players getting involved. Cal Beckerman almost able to poke that loose.
Chipped inside, the header goes awry. It's going to go out for a corner kick for Saint Vincent. Cameron cutting in.
And that's where his size makes such a huge difference for this team. He's athletic, he's strong. To me, he's a leader going forward for this group in that back four where you need somebody that stands tall and is the captain, so to speak, of that back four.
Stepping up, Roy Richards, the defender, trying to give some height. Out comes Gazan. Had to retreat quickly and just get a touch to it. They'll swing to the near side and try it again.
It's so much better in the concentration, their discipline, the way they stay with runners. Greg Guzan is saying, you know what, I'm not going to catch this. I'm just going to parry this for another corner. You remember Guatemala and Mix Discarud didn't stay with his runner. The first goal.
The box. Sent back to the corner and driven across, but offside. Although, should it have been? Maybe on the ensuing cross. Mathieu Bordeaux not happy with the restart.
There you can see it again, Phil. Yeah, that was offsides. Good call.
Just enough of a touch off his teammate.
And that's okay with Brett. Almost 42nd minute. Let's go long. Let's fight for first and second balls, which the U.S. is. There we go.
In for Wood, lifts it over on the sombrero, heads it down and decked, and it's going to be a penalty. Flying in was Roy Richards. Reaching into his pocket is Mathieu Bordeaux. Bobby Wood still down. He's earned a penalty, but he's paid the price. And the Trinidad-based Richards.
Cynical, reckless. Red card, in my opinion. Bobby Wood showing again his acceleration, his strength, his first touch here with his head is sublime. And then that's an island tackle, I call that. Wow.
Azure Durham, the big number 20, was on the inside. Probably the only thing that would have saved that obvious goal-scoring opportunity. But then again, the triple punishment has been erased in the revised laws of the game. Still Roy Richards flying in, and a chance for Josie Altidore to get back on the score sheet in his return from 12 paces. Altidore, 3 quick steps and 1 lightning shot. The United States has stretched its lead to 3 as Altidore nets his 35th goal.
Shoelaces feel straight down the middle. Goalkeeper obviously guesses wrong. 3-0, as you said again, and Josie just confident, in form, steps up. That's my ball as the captain, and rivals this, as you can see again. Shoelaces straight down the pike for a 3rd goal, the killer goal also just before halftime for Saint Vincent and the Grenadines.
No trickery about it. Josie Altidore, raw power. It's one of those situations with Josie Altidore as we see the final minute of regulation approach. So much talent, if they could just keep him healthy. Ackerman apologizing for the foul as Theon Gordon tripped up. Gordon, ex-captain. In fact, he's an ex-coach back in 2011 World Cup qualifying. Don't forget, for all the highlights, the Valvoline halftime highlight show coming your way. Get the analysis as well. The United States be hard-pressed to come up with a better halftime situation. Wood, Beasler, and Altidore all scoring. There's still 45 minutes more to go. And again, the one thought in my mind, thinking back to 1989, as Sean Benjamin gets rid of it just in time, but taken away by Acosta and Johnson. Beckerman wrestled to the turf. If it does come down to that final day, and at the moment it doesn't look like it will, you know Trinidad and Tobago has revenge on their minds from 1989. 2 minutes to be added.
The fourth official has signaled 2 minutes of added time to be played at the
Costa
end of the first half.
Lifting it over, Benjamin falls for Altidore, touched for Bedoya. U.S. continuing to push forward. And a sense that they could get another goal before the break. Jurgen Klinsmann might make a couple of changes before the second half. Ball in, Johnson turns, but no problem for Christopher on the two-hopper. Saint Vincent 156th in the latest FIFA rankings. And it gives you an idea why the U.S. was so much of a favorite. U.S. checks in at 26th. Nice touch up to Altidore.
We all know in these countries, sometimes that doesn't mean anything, Phil, that they're professional right now. They're taking care of business the way they should be. There's such a huge disparity in talent, and it shows right now. Committed team, good ball circulation, 3 goals.
Beautiful.
That's taking care of business.
Johnson tripped up and the foul called just outside the area. 30 seconds left. If the U.S. gets a chance, maybe an opportunity to add to their lead off this restart.
And Fabian Johnson shows his ability to play on both sides of the ball so well. He's athletic, he's technically sound. He gets tripped and kicked again, but I like the mere fact that Jurgen Klinsmann played Fabian Johnson there with Zardes being out with an injury and allowed Acosta, a younger player, to come in. He could have easily gone with Omar Gonzalez, Beasler left fullback, and not play Acosta and play Fabian still in midfield. Or keep Fabian there and play with somebody else out.
Acosta, his World Cup qualifying debut, only his 3rd cap, and he's done well. Chance for Zusi, sneaks it inside, headed away, and that's going to do it for the first half of play. St. Vincent with a chance or two, but the United States capitalizing on its opportunities. Wood just shy of the half-hour mark. Beasler just after, and Altidore with the penalty just before the break. Jurgen Klinsmann and the U.S. walk off with a 3-0 lead. 45 minutes still to go, but the U.S. comfortably in control.